Astronauts to the moon.
Saludos a todos y bienvenidos a mi canal. Quería mostraros un documental antiguo de 1968 de Patrick Moore. Para ponernos en contexto, Patrick Moore es esta persona que hizo la famosa pregunta a los astronautas del Apolo 11 si ellos recordaban haber visto estrellas en el espacio. Quiero destacar que Patrick Moore no cree en otro mundo que no sea el de una tierra esférica, pero sí que hizo de este documental pues algo respetuoso y algo que no estamos acostumbrados a ver, tratar a la gente con respeto que piensa distinto a lo que la sociedad opina en general, ¿no? Gente que se sale de la corriente. Y empieza por una persona que dice que el sol es frío. Esto yo ya lo había escuchado, había mucha gente que decía que cuanto más se sube en altitud, más frío se consigue y que con ello el sol debería de ser frío. No he indagado mucho en ello, pero sí que me ha parecido muy interesante el tema del sol frío. Esta persona no es ni más ni menos que un profesor de la Universidad de Cambridge de matemáticas. Y vamos a empezar por ver este documental de Patrick Moore.
Dear Sir, re the quiet sun. I think the sun acts very strangely. I see it go into a red-hot disk, then change into a new moon, as on Saturday last. It rocked about, went dim and bright, and repeated this until after a few minutes it vanished. Dear Sir, on the basis of my theory of cold light radiation from the moon, there should be a period of turbulence, cloud chilling and rain about the 14th, 15th and 16th of June. Will you please help me to check this? Dear Sir, one evening, many years ago in Glasgow, I noticed a series of round balls travelling round three walls of a room. Whatever was causing the images, about 3 or 4 inches in diameter, I looked and could discover nothing. Then I noticed that stars in the sky were fading, and that as they faded, my balls disappeared. Stars were round. How is it that everyone thinks them pointed? Well, those are some of the many thousands of letters that I've had since I started going on the air and talking about astronomy, which is a good many years ago now. And at least these letters were written by people of independent thought, people who weren't shackled by the strings of convention. I believe, you know, that we're all nowadays too conventional and too regimented. We believe what we're told and we do as we are told. What I want to do in this programme is to examine the ideas and the views of some people who aren't shackled in this way, who are quite prepared to go out on a limb and think for themselves. Now, whether they're right or whether they're wrong is neither here nor there. I may fundamentally disagree with quite a lot of what we're going to hear. This doesn't matter. This is merely a question of personal opinion. Let's take an example. One of these independent thinkers is the Reverend P.H. Francis, Vicar of Stoughton in Sussex, and let it be said at once that he's no amateur. He holds an excellent mathematics degree from Cambridge University, he's taught mathematics for many years, and he still does. One of his theories is that the Earth is not kept warm by heat from the sun. Well, this is a wonderful part of Sussex, particularly in the sunshine, and I can feel the heat of the sun on my neck now, but of course you don't think the sun's hot.
No, the sun isn't hot. It's not a hot body, it causes heat, but it's not hot itself.
The sun itself is cold?
Well, cold or temperate, like the Earth.
Well, how does it induce heat in the Earth then? This is what I can't quite get into my mind.
The energy, there's an energy circle as there's a water cycle, and the sun operates that, and energy changes in a complete circle like that. Sometimes it says heat and so on. Now you feel a tree or a bit of wood, a table or anything like that, it's not hot, but you can release that energy it's taken in, and the same amount of energy is released when it's burnt or when it decays as it took in from its surroundings.
What puzzles me a bit is that at the moment I'm sitting here, say in this lovely old vicarage, and I can see the sun, and I can feel what I think is heat on my forehead. It's coming from the sun.
Well, now, suppose you had an electric generating station. It doesn't have to be on fire,
yes,
but you can have an electric radiator and the generating station, which is completely cold, may be causing heat on your neck. So it doesn't mean that the generating station itself has got to be on fire. The idea that the flaming body is dashing all round about the place is complete nonsense. It's everybody assumes it because everybody else didn't know. Everybody's afraid to be different from everybody else.
Cabe destacar que este señor, por la edad que muestra, estamos hablando de 1968 este documental, estamos ante un profesor de matemáticas del siglo XIX y está hablando de un sol frío, ¿eh? Y esto, tecnológicamente hablando, hoy en día tiene todo el sentido del mundo, es decir, motos o coches con refrigeración por aire o líquida demuestran que cualquier dispositivo tecnológico necesita un enfriamiento para tener un buen resultado. De hecho, hoy en día hay gente que quiere el mejor rendimiento posible dentro de sus ordenadores y les ponen incluso refrigeración de nitrógeno líquido. Estamos hablando de menos de 100 grados bajo cero. O sea, es una temperatura ultra fría. Pero con ello se consigue un rendimiento de lo mejor posible. Es decir, lo que está diciendo este señor no es para mí ninguna tontería. Si estamos hablando que el sol es un dispositivo realmente tecnológico, estamos hablando que necesita una refrigeración. No estamos diciendo, al igual que él, que no entregue calor, sino que su funcionamiento tiene que ser lo más frío posible. Ahora vamos a pasar a una parte que es totalmente insólita. Patrick Moore se va a un colegio y pone en duda todo lo establecido y le pregunta a los niños si es posible que todo lo que les han enseñado esté incorrecto. De hecho, les hace una pregunta al más puro estilo el show de Truman, a pesar de que en esta época la película no estaba hecha. Les dice, ¿os creéis que puede haber un final? ¿Una pared blanca? Fijaros bien.
I'm sure that Mr. Francis is right when he says that we tend to accept what we're told. And I wonder if everything now is so stereotyped and conventional that independent thought is stifled early on. And if so, does school play a part in the stifling? I decided to ask the boys of Homewood House, near Tunbridge Wells, whether they accepted everything that their masters told them, or whether they were ready to strike out along an independent line.
Right round here. Right. Oh, come on. Yes, I see what you mean. Yes. Well, a good deal of snow around, certainly. I've got some down my neck. Why? Yes, thanks to you very much. Ha ha. Look, yes. Why does snow fall down?
Because it's freezing.
It's water freezing.
And it's too heavy to be held up by the atmosphere, so it falls down.
Why does it fall down? This is the point. Gravity, yes. Now, what's gravity? Do you know?
Newton discovered.
Yes, now, one at a time. What do you think gravity is?
Well, it is, as it says, a push or a pull, which makes things fall towards the earth.
This is what you've been told, isn't it?
Yes.
Have you ever tried to prove it? What about you?
Well,
Yes.
you throw a stone up in the air and it comes down
I
and
know
it
it
doesn't
does.
keep going.
What would you say, for example, of someone who said that the universe ended in a blank wall? Would you think this was reasonable?
No, that's illogical. That is what's on the other side.
Come on, you haven't had to say it yet. What do you think about it all?
Well, if it does end at the wall, what's on the other side of the wall? There can't be just nothing. There's got to be something.
If on the other hand, if on the other hand the universe doesn't end, then it's got to go on forever, hasn't it? Well, can you imagine that?
No.
Of course you can't.
It's like a road, never ending and never beginning.
Do you ever question this? I mean, do you ever think that everything that we are taught, I'm not talking about religion at the moment, everything that we are taught about science particularly, just could be wrong, and there may be some frightful flaw that nobody's thought about? Has that ever occurred to you? Something really fundamental. I mean, in either mathematics or science itself, or anything you like. What would you say then? Any other?
But the molecule structure
Yes,
might be
here we are.
wrong.
The molecule structure might be
Yes.
wrong.
I mean, the molecules that we know are based on carbon.
Ah, now, who's told you this?
Our science master.
And you just accept it?
Naturally, because I can't think of anything else that it could be made up of.
I see, well, that's a jolly good reason.
It could be some unheard of thing.
Very fair. They think for themselves, but perhaps only within certain limits. We must accept some things, I know that, but there's a danger that we're going to turn into regimented sheep if we accept too much. Or have we already done it?
Lo que queda claro es que, por lo que parece, en esta época los niños no estaban tan condicionados. Básicamente porque muchos de ellos no se les ha convencido del universo infinito todavía. Y todos ellos, al final, se puede escuchar el murmullo entre ellos diciendo que tiene que haber un final, como es lógico. Ahora vamos a pasar a unas imágenes de archivo de lo más raras, ya que de Samuel Shenton tenemos muchas fotografías de su casa cuando él falleció y todo lo que tenía colgado, pero imágenes de vídeo de él apenas tenemos. Sin embargo, aquí tenemos unas imágenes de archivo de él. Y podemos ver cómo es entrevistado después de que en 1968, ese mismo año, mostraran las primeras fotos de la Tierra, que obviamente eran un montaje. Él habla de un muro, y que ese muro todavía no se ha traspasado por el ser humano. Obviamente no tiene nada que ver con la Flat Earth Society que tenemos hoy en día, que es básicamente un circo. Samuel Shenton.
Mr. Samuel Shenton, president of the International Flat Earth Society, who lives in Dover and who believes the Earth is shaped like a gramophone record, with the North Pole in the middle and a wall of ice all round the edge.
Links very much with the statement which was given out by General Boardman, the astronaut. He spoke about the Earth in its early stages. The Earth in its early stages was revealed from the waters, and it was revealed as a four-square fabric.
Like this, in fact?
Absolutely like that.
And this is water around it?
Absolutely, yes, yes. The waters were dispelled from the Earth, and the whole thing was covered by a heaved-up structure, shamihim in the Hebrew, a heaved-up structure actually in water.
What about the astronauts, then? If they didn't, in fact, go round the Earth, what did they go round?
They're tracked. To put a thing into orbit, you carry it up to a height and then level off.
What exactly is this line here?
Oh, those result from the camera photographing here the horizon, and the photographs result in these humped effects, which people are presented with that they think the Earth is round.
In fact, there isn't any South Pole.
No, no, no. The 60,000 miles was round the ice barrier. And so far, man has not gone across the ice barrier to investigate any further.
Bueno, Samuel Shenton aquí lo deja claro. No se ha podido atravesar ese muro y obviamente sí, quizás a través de algunas élites, pero lo que es el ser humano tal y como nosotros lo conocemos no ha atravesado ese muro. Además, los astronautas de esa famosa misión Apolo, sacando esas primeras fotos, volaron completamente nivelados. Además, también los cohetes V1, como pudimos ver en las fotos que tenía colgadas en su casa, también volaban nivelados a través del Canal de la Mancha, desde Francia a Inglaterra. Esos famosos cohetes lanzados por Führer Werner von Braun. Además, él los veía en primera persona, viviendo en Dover. Ahora vamos a pasar a otro investigador, el cual también tiene un mapa muy parecido y habla de una Tierra plana magnética. Y esta es de lo más curiosa, porque además dice que la Luna está hecha de plasma. También tiene un telescopio que dice que es mucho más potente que los actuales, que el sistema que se utiliza en los telescopios de hoy en día tienen un sistema que no es absolutamente nada potente. Vamos a echarle un vistazo.
What the independent thinker has to do is to start absolutely from scratch, look out into the universe, take what he sees there, and then put his own independent opinion on it without bothering about anybody else. And this is exactly what has been done by Mr. John Bradbury of Ashton-under-Lyne, who's thrown all orthodoxy out of the window and has constructed a picture of the universe that is all his own, based partly upon theory and partly upon observations made with his strictly unorthodox telescope.
Well, Mr. Bradbury, this looks like a conventional telescope, but I gather it isn't.
No, it's far from being a conventional telescope because it isn't split up in the lenses. Most of the lenses in this telescope are at the eye end.
Down here,
the
you
eye
mean?
piece end, yes. Yes, there's only one object lens at the other end.
What's the purpose of having so many lenses?
Well, you can't get the power without. You must have the power to bring the object very much closer. With a conventional telescope, you can't do that.
I would have thought that every time you passed a beam of light through an extra lens, you'd lose a bit of light.
Yes, that is so, that you do lose light. But looking at objects in the sky, you don't need to lose it.
Looking at your map of the Earth, it looks to me as if you've got the North Pole in the middle and all directions are south. Is this correct?
Yes, it is correct in that method.
What about gravity?
Sir Isaac Newton, when he was in an orchard in Lincolnshire, saw an apple fall from the tree, and he brought out his theory of gravity, that the gravity had drawn this apple to the ground. Yet he didn't make a law which held the other apples on. Now, he also said that if you could stand a needle up on its point without any support, he would believe that the world wasn't going round. Naturally, I had to bring out a new theory to prove the shape of the world, the shape of the Earth too, you see.
Which is what you've done?
Yes, that is it. And you see, no matter where we are on the Earth's surface, we will always be pulled back to the centre.
And that's why you can't go to the edge of the Earth, in fact?
Yes, you cannot go to the edge of the Earth.
Well, let's have a look at the actual diagram of the Earth itself, shall we? And this, I think, is very interesting. Here we are. Now, I know that you've got the Earth as with a flat top and kind of a round underneath. Is this correct?
Yes, that is quite so. Yes, you see, this is more like a jigsaw puzzle. You can't complete it without a flat-topped Earth.
So this is the entire universe, in fact?
Yes, you see, you've got the full metallic stony background, and this, of course, was where the flow of magnetism is.
What's this line down here?
Now, this line is for the sub-semi-vacuum. It divides the pure vacuum from the semi-vacuum which surrounds the Earth itself.
What about the sun and moon?
The moon?
It's a flat disk, is it?
Not actually flat. It is slightly convex, but not much on the surface. Now, it is a disk of carbon.
The moon's made of carbon?
Just carbon,
yes.
Just a carbon disk, which shows in this.
Yes.
This I saw 2 years ago on the harvest moon, September moon. And this material here is plasticine phosphorus, or a material very, very similar to that.
But where does that come from? Where does the plasticine phosphorus actually picked up?
It's circulating in the atmosphere. When the moon's waning, it allows it to go off, and when it's waxing, it picks it up again.
You know, I think you're going to be the first to admit that these ideas and theories of yours are not conventional ones.
Correctly, yes.
Well, I know that you've also given lectures at various universities. I mean, I wasn't at your lecture at Cambridge University or at Keele, but I heard about the people who were. And how do you find that other people react to your ideas?
Well, some people, of course, when it's all explained thoroughly, they will accept it. But if it isn't explained thoroughly, well, of course, they think we're nutcases or something, you see.
And what do you think, what research are you going to carry out in the near future?
Well, of course, the next thing is photography.
Well, Mr. Bradbury hasn't yet started his photographic experiments, but when he does so, I am sure that the results will be truly remarkable. Let me concede that I don't pretend to agree with his theories, but I have the greatest admiration for him as a man who's had the moral courage to break clean away from every semblance of conventionality, strike out for himself, and lecture publicly about it with no fear of ridicule or scorn. To me, Mr. Bradbury is the supreme example of the independent thinker.
Bueno, como hemos podido ver, conceptos distintos, pero los mapas son básicamente los mismos. El supuesto polo sur, enorme, y el polo norte justo en el centro del mapa. Un plano magnético, además muy bien expuesto por este señor. Y la pregunta que se genera uno es: ¿cuánto tiempo le queda a la gente que piensa distinto? ¿Cuánto tiempo nos queda a las personas que decidimos analizar y suponer el mundo tal y como se nos es presentado por nuestros propios sentidos? ¿Cuánto tiempo vamos a poder pensar distinto al resto? ¿O cuánto tiempo vamos a poder publicarlo en igualdad de condiciones que el resto? Dicho esto, espero que os haya gustado este documental. Espero que haya sido de vuestro disfrute el haber inmortalizado estos archivos tan antiguos. Un fuerte abrazo y hasta el siguiente vídeo.